Welcome back to This Day in Scottish History. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald. Today we remember a tragic and haunting event that unfolded off the western coast of Scotland during the final months of the First World War. On October 6th, 1918, HMS Otranto sank after a devastating collision with another troopship, HMS Kashmir, in the turbulent waters of Machir Bay, Islay. The catastrophe claimed the lives of 431 men, including 351 American servicemen who were on their way to the battlefields of Europe. This disaster has left a lasting mark on the island of Islay, and its memory still resonates today. Let's begin by diving into the background of HMS Otranto. Originally built in 1909 as an ocean liner for the Orient Steam Navigation Company, the Otranto was designed for the long route between London and Australia. A luxurious ship, she was outfitted to carry passengers across the seas in comfort, with room for over 1,000 passengers spread across 3 classes. But like so many vessels of that era, her peaceful role in passenger service was dramatically altered by the outbreak of the First World War. In August 1914, the Otranto was requisitioned by the British Admiralty and refitted as an armed merchant cruiser. This new role meant she was equipped with 8 4.7-inch naval guns and tasked with patrolling the seas for enemy ships, particularly German commerce raiders. Over the next 4 years, the ship saw action in various naval operations, including a role in the aftermath of the Battle of Coronel and the subsequent Battle of the Falkland Islands, where British forces sought to avenge their losses. By 1918, as the war raged on, HMS Otranto was converted again, this time into a troopship. It was in this new capacity that she became part of Convoy HX-50, carrying hundreds of American soldiers across the Atlantic to join the fight in Europe. As October 1918 arrived, the war was in its final stages, but the journey was not without peril. The Atlantic, always dangerous, was now made even more treacherous by severe storms. On October 6th, as the convoy approached the British Isles, the weather turned from bad to worse. The ships were navigating through a fierce gale off the coast of Islay, a Scottish island known for its wild, rugged beauty. Visibility was severely reduced and the ships struggled to maintain their course. In the early morning, HMS Otranto and HMS Kashmir, a fellow troopship in the convoy, found themselves on a collision course in the dense fog and tumultuous seas. Despite desperate efforts to avoid each other, the two ships collided. The Kashmir's bow struck Otranto's side with tremendous force, breaching the hull and causing catastrophic damage. Water flooded the boiler rooms, and the Otranto, now powerless, began to list severely. With the ship rapidly taking on water and being driven towards the rocky cliffs of Islay by the storm, Captain Ernest Davidson faced a grim reality. The lifeboats damaged in the collision were of little use, and the mountainous waves made launching any attempt at escape nearly impossible. In a heroic act, the destroyer HMS Mounsey arrived on the scene, her captain, Lieutenant Francis Craven, risking his own ship to come alongside the sinking Otranto. Against incredible odds, Craven managed to rescue over 300 men, including 266 members of the Otranto's crew and around 30 American soldiers. However, the rescue efforts could not reach everyone, and the Otranto soon struck a notorious local landmark, Old Women's Reef, before breaking apart entirely. Tragically, of the approximately 489 men still aboard after Mounsey's departure, only 21 survived by swimming to shore through the frigid storm-tossed waters. Most of the bodies washed ashore in the following days, forming heart-wrenching scenes as the islanders of Islay gathered to give the fallen a proper burial. For the people of Islay, this tragedy hit close to home. Already earlier in 1918, another disaster had occurred nearby when the troopship Tuscania was torpedoed by a German U-boat and hundreds of Americans had perished. Now, once again, the islanders found themselves faced with the grim task of recovering and burying the dead. Their compassion and bravery during this dark time were extraordinary, and they did all they could to comfort survivors and honour the fallen. In the years following the war, a poignant memorial was erected on the Mull of Oa, a dramatic headland on Islay, to commemorate the American servicemen who died aboard both the Tuscania and the Otranto. This striking stone tower, standing tall against the winds that batter Islay's cliffs, serves as a lasting tribute to the hundreds of men who never made it to the front lines. Today we remember the 431 lives lost in the tragedy of HMS Otranto. Their story is one of heroism, tragedy, and the enduring bonds between nations. The events of that fateful day have left a profound legacy on Islay and beyond, reminding us of the many sacrifices made during the First World War, even far from the battlefield. Thank you for joining us on this day in Scottish history. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald. Join us next time as we uncover more moments that shaped the rich and complex history of Scotland. Until then, haste ye back.